here in the Old North Church, aka the Trap. This church is an Episcopal church. It was recited as an Episcopal church after the American Revolution. This Old North Church was created in order to accommodate the need for a second church in Boston. This church is mostly important for its steeple all the way on the top, which is 8 stories high. This steeple is important for the reason that Paul Revere signaled a lantern in order to warn the Patriots that the Redcoats were approaching through the Charles River. There are many other places within this church that are important, such as the bells, which I will show you right now as we walk up into the building. Follow me. These bells are significant for the reason that they have been rung since the time when Paul Revere was a child, and because he was familiar with the infrastructure of the building, he was able to signal the lanterns. These bells are voluntarily rung by MIT students every Sunday after service and have a significant tone which varies to a traditional church bell. As we go down the staircase, these steps were extremely creaky, which shows that the infrastructure has not changed much since it was first created. This room stands as a room to store files of the church. However, back in the days, it was a passageway to get to the steeple and overlooks the street where the steeple first collapsed. As we enter into the church, you can see the traditional pews that were placed when the church was first established. The pews in general, especially for those closer to the altar, were for the richer, and those who were poor were able to sit at the upper levels or sides of the church. So we are here in the Old North Church, in the back of the Old North Church, and through this door is called the crypt, where over 1,100 bodies are basically buried during the time of the Revolutionary War. During this time, there were tombs that would be sold for many of the people who have died. But however, after a couple of years, they would resell these tombs and put the dead bodies, the remains of the bodies, in a pit. And as we enter this door, you will see where this new pit is called a crypt, where they will put the cremated bodies into the. The crypt today continues to preserve cremated bodies for $3,000. After purchasing a spot, you can engrave the loved one's name to commemorate them. Back then, the placement of the tomb signified political or financial status. From the experience of the tour, I felt that it just focused its importance to the burial and did not represent what history talks more about, which is the lighting of the lantern. Here, so as we saw earlier, the history of the church was presented as a guided tour, where it showed the significance of each room. It presents early American history through the steeple, as it represents the lighting of the lanterns through Paul Revere's signaling to his friend Robert Newton. Although the church presented a different perspective to my initial expectations in going into the site, it did not go into detail as to why this landmark is significant in Boston. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe, I'll see you on the next one.